Back in the 60s, as I said, we used to get goosebumps every time we heard this lady's husky voice, and all those wonderful records. You Don't Have to Say You Love Me, Just Be Close at Hand, I Only Want to Be With You, Wishing and Hoping, Stay a While, and of course, Son of a Preacher Man, which we open with today. Dusty Springfield, give her a big, big welcome. Oh! You haven't been to Australia since, what, 1969, I think it was?
1969,
What were your impressions when you came back?
Oh, boy, well, it's changed a lot. First of all, I only came in to do one thing. I went down to Melbourne to do an industrial show for Datsun. They were unveiling some new car.
Right.
And so it was meant to be sort of literally coming to Melbourne for one night. But what's happened is I run into so many people, old friends that I know, that they can't get me to leave. So came up to Sydney to do your show,
right,
and to do some radio shows and things, and I'm having a really good time.
Oh, it's lovely to see you again. I remember the first time we met, it was back in the early 60s. At the old stadium here in Sydney, you were one of the stars of a show.
Oh God!
And I
Jerry and the Pacemakers.
Jerry and the Pacemakers.
Yeah.
Was it the Beach Boys as well?
No, but all I remember was in a boxing ring, and it had a revolving stage, and every time you go through, You Don't Have to Say You Love Me, it would stop halfway round and go back round the other way again, which is very disconcerting to you when you're singing a ballad because you expect to fall over all the time.
That's right. It was a funny old place, wasn't it? It used to hold 14,000 people, and it was a big tin shed.
It was an amazing place.
Yeah. And you told me then
a night to remember.
You told me then that your name was Mary O'Brien.
Mary Isabel Catherine Bernadette O'Brien.
Wouldn't be Irish Catholic, would it, much?
Well, it's Lithuanian.
What is that again, Mary?
Mary Isabella Catherine, with a C, Bernadette O'Brien.
How did you get all those?
I don't know. My mother thought it was a good idea at the time. To be sure. To be sure.
What in the last 4 or 5 years, we haven't heard much of you at all. Occasionally, everyone said, whatever happened to Dusty Springfield type thing.
It's nice that they said that. I was living in Los Angeles. I'd sort of had a good run of success in England.
Yeah.
I'm a very restless person. When I feel I've used up my time, I'll go off somewhere else. So what I did was go to the States and work quite successfully for a while there, and then just literally ran out of energy.
Did you?
Because I've been singing since I was 16 years old, and the longest time I ever held a job before that was 3 weeks at the Co-op Insurance Company. So.
And what did you just think, I've had it, I've really had performing, there must be something else in life? Was that it, one of those?
Yes, it was a foolish thing to think, because actually there isn't for a singer. It's the main thing in life.
Yeah.
It took an inordinate length of time for me to discover that, and it seemed very self-indulgent. But I was just really very, very tired and lucky enough to be able to stop. Not everyone has the kind of job that they can do that. You know what I mean? You just get stuck with it.
And what did you do to fill in your time? Did you find you were driving yourself mad?
I wish I could say I did anything profound like pig farming or potato farming in Idaho or something like that. But I didn't, actually. I just sort of looned around and, as I say, took a great deal of time to discover what I was best at in life at doing.
Back to singing. What was the feeling when you, because your comeback to me seemed to be quite a jolt. I thought, that's pretty brave. You put on concerts in London.
Yeah, I went back. It was the first time I'd sung live in London in 6 years, and they sort of talk about jumping in the deep end.
Right.
And I can't swim anyway, but I went into the Albert Hall, which is a huge place.
About 8,000 people.
Yeah, and also the Theatre Royal Drury Lane, which is almost as big.
Right.
And you get that terrible feeling that no one's going to show up. Well, it worked very well because it was packed every night, and it was a very emotional sort of experience.
Yes, you are one of those people who's lucky enough to have that quality that people still want to know for a long, long time. Because the other thing, too, is although you hadn't made records for a long while, your records are the sort of things that are always being played as flashbacks on radio programs anyway. So despite the fact you're in retirement, your name was still very much to the fore.
I've been very lucky, both here and in the States. People did play the records quite a lot during the time when I wasn't actually live performing.
Yeah. We've got some footage here from the old days.
What?
Do you want to see how it was when you came to Australia the first time?
White beehive and pink lips.
That's right. Let's have a look.
We all went through it.
Remember how you used to look like Dusty Springfield when she looked like this?
Oh, God.
Let's hear it for the bird with the beehive.
And that's looks like me doing an impression of Debbie Reynolds.
All that back combing and that, I suppose.
Well, yeah, part of it was, and part of it wasn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The front part was me, the rest was not.
The rest was on hire.
Yes, right.
What about those eyelashes of yours? That was the other thing. You always sort of had veranda-like eyelashes on.
Oh yeah, but I mean the people still do that. Look at Diana Ross's; they're out to here, you know. So, the eyelashes are still very useful for stage. But I mean, I used to wear a lot of jet black eye.
That's right. Yeah, well, you really look like one of those panda bears, if you don't mind me saying.
That's
black eyes and there's all this blonde
That's
hair.
exactly.
That was the look.
That's exactly why I did it.
Do you find that the public still sort of has that image of you and gets surprised when you don't look the black eyes and the blonde hair?
Sometimes, yeah. Well, people resent change, I think, in some ways. But they forget that they've changed too. I think most of us changed for the better rather than the worse.
Yeah, I think it's true. There's a funny thing about fashions and looks too, isn't it? Everyone looks so ridiculous in them when you look back.
I know, when you look back and you look at the shops now, the clothes are so great and the things that are available to the public, much broader range.
You had a reputation for being a bit stormy in those days. Would you acknowledge that now?
Hasn't changed much.
Still got a good Irish
Just do it
temper.
in different countries.
There was one of the stories I heard about you was throwing a pie at a head waiter in a London restaurant. Was it? Do you remember that incident?
By the time that story reached Sydney, it had become a pie. It started out as a very small quiche Lorraine. It was in some awards ceremony, and there was a new waiter, and he was trying to do his best, and he had his boss on his back all the time. He was a real heel-clicking idiot head waiter, you know, the type arrogant. And he was sort of really being so nasty to this waiter that I just let fly at him. But by the time it actually ricocheted off the chef and sort of hit about 3 different people, which is not what I meant to happen at all.
No wonder the papers liked it. Because the big news, and I'd love to tell everyone if you don't mind, is that you're getting married very soon.
That's right, next month.
How about it? The blushing bride? It's taken you a while to
I haven't
decide.
blushed yet. Yeah.
Who is the man?
It's about time. He's a Toronto musician. You wouldn't know.
And we're not going to?
Well, you might. Yeah, just stick around.
Tall, dark and handsome?
Taller than I am, very dark and very handsome, yes. Extremely.
And you got that look in your eyes.
Yes, I'm beaming like from ear to ear.
So that's next month?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations from all of us.
Thank
We've
you
very
very
little something for you just to take home while you're here in Sydney.
Oh, I thought you were going to throw a cake at me for a bit.
No, we couldn't get a cake.
Very much. I much appreciate it.
No, the canteen was out of quiche Lorraine, so we thought we'd give you some flowers instead.
They're absolutely gorgeous.
Well, it is lovely to see you, and do come back soon. I know that you've got lots of fans in Australia who'd love to see you in concert.
I'm dying to come back, hopefully in the autumn.
So why don't you come back for us? You will, in autumn.
Oh, yeah. Well, whatever, that's your spring, isn't it? Well, October, November, sometime like that. That's your spring?
That'll do.
Yep.
We'll put it on for you. If you want spring in October, November, you can have it.
Right.
And we look forward to seeing it. I hope we catch up with you again.
Thank you very much.
Dusty Springfield, ladies and gentlemen. One of the greats.